When was the last time you were bored or annoyed during a meeting? Perhaps you noticed that discussions kept going in circles, misunderstandings cropped up, or the atmosphere took a negative turn. In this video, I'm going to show you what you can do to improve the situation.
Episode 3. Improve your meetings using the communication pyramid.
Hi, my name is Ferdinand Veldmans and this is Agile Bites. In this video, I'll share a practical model and 3 ways for using it during meetings. Whether you're leading the meeting or just participating, this tool will help you guide the conversation and improve the overall outcome. Make sure to stay until the end, where I'll give you a pro tip that you can use whenever you notice miscommunication. When it comes to effective communication, we identify 3 layers. First, content. This layer focuses on what is being discussed, the substance of the conversation. It includes elements such as results, ideas and facts. Second, procedure. Here we consider how the discussion takes place, the organization and structure of the meeting. Elements like timing and working agreements fall into this category. Third, interaction. This layer involves the connections between people, the way we relate to one another. It includes beliefs, emotions and interests. These 3 layers form the communication pyramid. While some refer to the bottom layer as the process layer, I prefer to call it the interaction layer to avoid confusion in an agile context. Choosing wisely which layer to intervene on can enhance meeting efficiency and help you to achieve your goals faster. Interactions between people serve as the foundation for the communication in all situations. Emotion always dominates over rationality. When relationships between meeting participants are positive, communication tends to flow smoothly across the layers above. However, if there are issues or conflicts at interaction level, communication on the other 2 layers suffers as well. So remember this: enhancing interactions can greatly improve communication across all layers. Now, let's explore what actions you can take on each layer. One way to intervene at the content layer is by seeking clarification. You can ask open-ended questions to gain more details, examples or evidence in order to understand the message better. Examples are: who are the members of this team? Could you provide an example of how that works? When you are the facilitator, you could ask: what do you still need before we move on to the next step? Another great intervention on the content layer of the pyramid is the LSD method for active listening. It's a technique that helps you to understand what the other person is saying and to show your interest and empathy. This also helps to improve the interaction. Here are the 3 steps. Step 1. Listen. Pay full attention to what the other person is saying without interrupting or planning your response. Use non-verbal cues, such as eye contact and nodding, to show that you're listening. Step 2. Summarize. After the other person has finished speaking, paraphrase what they said in your own words. Check if you understood them correctly. For example, you can say, "So what you're saying is," or "Let me see if I got this right." Do this without judgment or giving your own opinion. Step 3. Dig deeper. Explore the topic further by asking open-ended questions. For instance, how do you feel about this situation? What led you to that conclusion? This step helps you to get to the core of the matter. When the content itself isn't an issue, but the conversation feels disorganized, consider intervening at the procedure layer. A great example is to add structure by drafting an agenda together. You could say, "I propose the following. Let's go around and hear from everyone about their important topics. Then we can create an agenda based on that." Another example is to propose to use a decision framework to organize the conversation before making a challenging decision. Sometimes conversations can go off track and lose focus on the main topic or goal. An easy intervention is to bring the group back to the subject at hand. Do that in a respectful way. without dismissing what the other person says. For example, you can say, I appreciate your input, but I think we're getting a bit off track. Can we go back to the agenda and see what we need to cover next? Another way is, that's an interesting point, but how does it relate to our topic? How might it impact our decision? The third layer is the hardest to use, but also the most powerful. Interventions about the interaction improve relationships as the foundation of the communication. In the interaction layer, much remains unseen or unspoken. Feelings often surface indirectly. For instance, someone might not say, I feel insecure, but instead ask numerous questions. It's essential to read between the lines. Observe non-verbal signals, tone of voice, and speaking pace. Reflect on these subtle signals. I'll give you a couple of examples. When you notice someone shifting their attention from the discussion to their laptop, there might be unexpressed feelings or thoughts. You could say, I see you're focusing on your laptop while you were previously part of the discussion. What happened between us that led to this change? This approach allows the other person to clarify or express their needs. Avoid asking direct why questions, as they often trigger a defensive response. The other person may argue or over-explain. Both things make you talk about the content, while if you get stuck, it should be about the interaction. So, to connect at interaction level, it isn't even necessary to ask questions. Just briefly describe what you see and hear. Another helpful intervention is to acknowledge emotions. These can be from yourself or others. For example, I am disappointed that my topic seems to drop off the agenda. Or, you look very angry, or am I wrong? When you reflect on emotions, it allows you to assess the dynamics of the group and understand the needs of the meeting participants. Once these relational aspects are addressed, people are more willing to listen to each other and hear messages as they are intended. Communication regarding procedures also becomes easier. All three layers of the communication pyramid are present at the same time when you communicate. In this model, we separated them to understand the communication. The communication pyramid reveals the root causes of miscommunication. While it may seem that conversation partners merely struggle to understand each other's content, the true issue often lies deeper, at the procedure layer or perhaps at the level of relationship and emotion, the interaction layer. As meeting facilitator or participant, you can influence the course of a conversation by making targeted interventions. By selecting the appropriate layer of the pyramid for intervention, you can maximize impact. That will allow you to steer and improve the conversation and reach the goal of the meeting faster and in a more pleasant way. Here is a practical tip you can apply in any situation where you notice miscommunication in a conversation. Write down or visualize what you have heard. It's a variation of summarizing, but with an essential twist. You display the results where everyone can see them. A whiteboard or flip chart works great. This intervention operates mostly at the content layer of the pyramid. Once you've visualized the information, misunderstandings are quickly resolved, and it becomes much easier to address any procedural issues. Why does this work so well? When you write things down, it fosters shared understanding. People absorb information more quickly when they see it visually rather than just hearing it. Visualization provides structure, abstraction, and connections between pieces of information. You can apply this technique when creating an agenda, gathering options for decision making, or discussing problems. I've personally used this method successfully many times. There's a lot more to be said about this model and the possible interventions. In the description of this video, you'll find a comprehensive cheat sheet and additional resources related to the techniques I mentioned. I hope you found this episode useful. Feedback is always welcome. You can let me know in the comments. See you next time.
Thank you for watching Agile Bites.